Today, what we're going to be discussing is what is actually your number one job as a leader, and maybe it's not what you think it might be. One of the biggest issues that we see pop up when it comes to leadership is that the auto repair shop owner, just like you maybe, is in a big hurry to try and reduce the number of days or the number of tasks that they have to do in the shop. And so they go and start trying to grow a leader who perhaps isn't actually the right person for the job. And of course, we understand that you want your freedom. That's the whole reason why you went into business for yourself, is so that you could basically name your own work week. However, as you know, it doesn't always work out that you actually get the freedom and lifestyle that you want right at the start. So we see it quite often. You'll start to delegate jobs or start to leave somebody in charge so that you can spend a bit of time out. And that person has been chosen because maybe there's no one else, or you've made the choice based on seniority. So somebody that's been a technician for the longest, or appears to have the most skill, or simply the person that you would place the most trust in. Now, your number one job as a leader is to grow more leaders. However, it's very, very important that you grow the right ones. So that's what we're going to talk about today, how you can identify who the right people are to grow, so that you growing those leaders is actually successful, and so that you don't go and put lots and lots of time into somebody who isn't the right person, and then you only have to start again. So I know that some of you watching on here right now may have been in the position before where you had someone pegged to be able to look after the shop for you when you weren't there, and when you did go and hand the reins over to them and give them the responsibility, they didn't perform the way you would like or the way that you thought they would. So it's really important when you start to move into that position of looking to be able to come and go from the business, have some time away, that you are actually in direct discussion with your team members as to their leadership aspirations. So we do this in what we call a feedback forum. Our engine room clients all get upskilled on how to conduct feedback forums. You may know them as a performance review. And you should be talking in those discussions about your team members' projected path inside of your business. So what are their goals? What are their aspirations? What are they actually working towards in their career? And are they a fit for a leadership role inside of your business? Now, if they are, then you need to be able to create a leadership pathway for them. And that is probably going to be in conjunction with a training pathway, a training plan for any additional skills that you think that they may need to acquire along the way. And that training and leadership pathway needs to include time with you, because if you're going to be investing time in them, then you need to know that they have the same ethos as you, they're buying into the vision, the rest of the team trust them, and you play a big role in that by edifying this person to the other team members. Particularly important for when you step away, you want the rest of the team to trust and respect them as well. And you'll play a large part in whether that happens or not. So in creating your leadership and training pathway, it's really important that the team member understands the little milestones along the way that you want them to achieve and for them to achieve, so that they know that they're on track and heading for this extra responsibility. Now, we see from time to time where it's gone wrong, and the shop owners have identified somebody that they think should be, left in charge when they're not there. And that person has not stepped up, and they haven't had the respect of the rest of the team. And if anything, they've actually gone into that laissez-faire style leadership that I mentioned a couple of videos ago, where the team is actually just left to run itself, because the person installed as the leader decided that they'd just put their head down, get on with what their own tasks were, particularly if they were still on the tools, and they ignored the rest of the team. And the rest of the team had no structure, and no clear leadership. So it ended up being an epic fail on all fronts and cost businesses money because there was nobody keeping their eye on what was going on with productivity and efficiency like the owners had hoped for. So that's what happens when it goes wrong and you pick the wrong person. Now, you may have a discussion with somebody that says, yes, I'd like to be the foreman, or I'd like to be the leading hand, or I'd like to be the service manager or manager. And you put effort into that person in order to help them rise into those positions. But if you don't keep doing a regular feedback forum with them to check in that that is still their aspiration, then you may continue to go down the path with that person only to discover that they in fact aren't cut out for leadership, or they've had a little taste of it and they didn't enjoy it and they don't want to do it anymore. So it's really important you recognize that your number one job as a leader is to grow more leaders, but also to recognize who the right people are. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, you identify that through having regular feedback forums. So doing one every quarter, every 3 months, catch up, sit down one-on-one with your team members, ask them what their goals and aspirations are with their career. How does that fit in with the needs of your business? Are there training opportunities? Are there leadership opportunities? And pathways that you can clearly create for them. Remember, there's that type of employee inside of your business right now. Maybe you've got one of them, maybe you've got 2 or 3 that like it this way, where they want structure. They want things to be clearly set out for them, and they will really thrive if you provide them with that structure. So I think the key message here is that leadership isn't just a fly by the seat of your pants thing. It's got to be structured, you've got to be intentional, and you've got to create voids, what we call leadership voids, for your up and coming people to step into so that you provide them the room to grow and become leaders. So the second part to this is actually you getting out of the way. Once you've had those conversations and you think that you've nailed, who should be given a leadership opportunity, once you start to train this person up and somewhat hand them the reins every now and again, you've actually got to move out of the way so that they can grow into that. There's absolutely no point in you putting in all of this training effort if you actually never get out of the way for that leader to be able to practice what they're learning and grow into their leadership role. So if you've got a problem with delegating or with letting go, let's address that now while you're growing your leaders so that it doesn't come to bite you in the butt when you do go and take an extended period of time away from the business. And means that you're compelled to make phone calls back to the workshop, more than you should be, and you're being the one that's constantly in contact with the shop. That's not what we want. That means that you've got trouble letting go. So create a void for your leader to be able to step into. So in summary, your number one job, grow leaders. Make sure that you're putting effort into the right people by having discussions with them in quarterly feedback forums about where they want to go. Create training and leadership pathways that are clearly understood. Actually draw things out for your people that love structure. And make sure that once you put the effort into growing leaders and giving them opportunities, that there's a void there for them to step into because you've moved out of the way for them to be able to grow. I trust you found that useful, and we'll be back again very soon with another video.